Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video, and in this one I'm just creating a single page spread in the small craft journal using scribble sticks. I don't often reach for the scribble sticks and I've been trying to make a conscious effort to play with them a little bit more. So of course it's got to be rainbow colours, hasn't it? So I have added a thin layer of clear gesso onto this page before I'm starting. And then I am just adding some circle shapes of rainbow colour. I am pressing on very hard. Dina says that the more pigment you're able to lay down, the better. So the harder you can press, obviously, naturally, the more pigment you get. So you can see it's quite vibrant as I am pressing on really, really hard. So I'm going around with all the colours that I want to use first, and then I'm going to go in with a wet brush and just move those pigments around and start to blend them into each other a little bit more, so it's less scribbly, although I do actually quite like the scribbly look too. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, this is quite an old page that I did quite a while ago. As I've said on some other recent videos, I have got a little bit behind editing some of my older pages, so I do apologise if this is a page that you think you saw ages ago. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably did. Yes, editing is not really my favourite thing to do, and so I'd always rather sit and just create journal pages rather than faff about on my laptop. So I have to kind of force myself to sit and do this, but yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? So I have used the colours ruby, tangerine, lemon lime, I think that's turquoise, blackberry and fuchsia. Yeah, and I'm just taking that colour right to the edge of the page. And like I say, pressing on really, really hard, laying down plenty of pigment. Okay. So then I'm using one of the new newer round brushes from Dina Wakley. These do hold a lot of water, so if you're going to have a go at this idea, it's worth just dabbing it on a little bit of kitchen towel or something absorbent, a bit of scrap of towel or whatever you use, just to lift some of the water out, because otherwise you will just end up with your page swimming with water and possibly not creating the look that you want to. So yeah, definitely just give it your brush a little dab on something first. So you can see this is just pulling those pigments around and just softening those edges a little bit, and making the colours blend into each other, which I also really, really like. It looks really nice. And then I am using some of the patterned transparencies. I'm just cutting out a little piece to go in one of the corners of my page. I think some of my favourite of the pattern transparencies are these ones with the lovely circles and circular, type shapes on them, and particularly on a bold background like this, they really stand out well. So that's going to be a little bit of a contrast against that bold background. I'm just faffing about making sure it's going to fit. So next I'm using some black gesso, and I'm going in with the Done Is Better stencil just to add a little bit of text onto my page. Black works quite well on this page because it's a real contrast with the rest of the bold colours. So I'm putting that in that corner. It's going to be underneath that lovely printed transparency, and then I'm going to use some of Dina's ultra thick gel medium just to stick that in place. So you might notice it looked a bit cloudy where the gel medium. It will dry clear, and then you won't really be able to see that that's what stuck it in place at all. So I'm just echoing that text stenciling up in the right hand corner of my page as well. And then I'm using my fine tip applicator bottle, and I'm just pulling out that pattern a little bit more and drawing some more of those shapes on my page, just to extend that pattern out onto my page as well. It's almost so that you can't tell where one finishes and another one starts. So because that's been done through the fine applicator bottle, it did take a little bit of drying. I'm very impatient. I could have left it to dry on its own, but you know, I haven't got time for that. I wanted to crack on. So next I'm using one of these figure stamps from one of Dina's stamp sets, and I'm using black archival ink. I think in terms of abstract figures, this is one of my favourite stamp sets. I'm just going to have a quick look what it's called. So it's called You Are the Universe, and there are 3 abstract figures on there, and they are so versatile because you can use them as the stamped outline, or you can paint them in, you can stamp them onto different things and then cut them out. Just so many possibilities. So you notice here that figure's a bit lost on my background, but I knew that I was going to paint it in to make it a bit bolder. I think I definitely have absolute firm favourite products in Dina's range, and the text stencils, so like the mantra stencil, that's one of my favourites. I think this stamp set, and then also the Make Things Happen stamp set, that's one of my favourites. I've definitely got ones that I often reach for when I know that I'm wanting to create a certain type of page. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because sometimes, you know, it's just more about having that time where you are creating in your journal, not necessarily about creating something that you've not done before. And also, I have found that sometimes just flicking through my old journals and finding a page that I really liked and recreating it, but in a different way, that can also be a great way to get started with creating something different. So then you can see I've added another figure onto the page, and then I've just grabbed a piece of white cardstock and I'm stamping the 3rd figure onto that, and I'm going to cut that out. So the reason I've done this is because this works as a great contrast element on my page. There isn't any white on there at the moment, and I often feel a journal page works really well when you've got those elements of contrast there. So I've got those bold colours in the background, I've got the black figures, then I think all it's missing is a little pop of white just to bring it to life. So this was a great way to do that on this page. So I'm just cutting it out very slowly apparently, and then it's going to be stuck on the page as well, but over on the left hand side. Okay, so once that's stuck in place, I'm then using my dot stamp that I created for Funky Fossil, and I'm using some white paint. So again, I'm bringing in that contrast with some more white on my page, which helps to link with that figure that I have stamped in white as well. So then I'm using some of the typed ledger papers for my words on my page. It's just a perfect way to finish a page off, and you can always find the right quote. Then just as a little pop of colour, and of course now we've got Dina's neon paints, this is even easier to do, but I'm using a fluorescent pink acrylic paint pen, which was being naughty, and I'm just adding some bold pink hearts onto the figures and some dots down at the bottom just to link those hearts in with the rest of the page. So this is quite a fun page to create, using those scribble sticks for the background to create that bold start with those lovely rainbow colours, and then just building up the layers of interest, because there was no collage paper on this page to start off with. It was just the colour and then the stamping and the transparency with a little splash of stenciling. Lots of fun to create. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.